Okay, now let's go through the Montreal Canadiens lineup heading into this series. We had some line juggling by Claude Julien towards the end of the Pittsburgh series, so this is what our lines look like now. For our first line, you have Phillip Danault lined up at center. Unbelievable two-way center in the NHL. He's finally starting to get his the respect in that regard, getting many Selke votes, and I suspect soon in the next few years he'll be in the top 3 very consistently. He had 13 goals and 34 assists for 47 points this season in 71 games, and he skates very, very well. He covers a lot of ice in a short amount of time. Very good with his stick, breaking up plays, high awareness defensively, and he's really strong along the boards, winning puck battles. He's also an underrated playmaker and really just an overall very solid center. To his left, you have Arturi Lekanen, a very strong and responsible 5-on-5 player. A guy who's always in the right position, but one of the Habs forwards who tends to have trouble finishing off plays. Hopefully we can see him continue getting his offensive game going in this series against the Flyers, because he was really starting to show some glimpses in that series against the Pens. He's also a big body, he'll lay the hits, and he's great along the boards, winning puck battles. And then to the right, you have Paul Byron. Small guy, but he's speedy, very fast, great with his stick breaking up plays. Another very strong defensive forward for the Montreal Canadiens. He's also become a consistent 20-goal scorer. He's very well known for his goals on the penalty kill, shorthanded, coming down on the breakaway, and he was our leading point scorer in that Pittsburgh Penguins series with 4 points, along with Shea Weber. Then you go down to the Habs second line and you have Nick Suzuki, who is starting to break out for the Habs. Former first-round pick just a few years ago, and he has a very high hockey IQ, especially defensively. He reads plays very well and often picks pucks off and takes them away from players just because of the way that he can read plays. He's always seems to be just a bit ahead of what his opposition is doing. He's also got some serious skill as well. He's got a great shot and very impressive playmaking vision. Suzuki in his rookie season had 13 goals, 28 assists for 41 points. And he is known as a clutch playoff performer. This is his first playoffs in the NHL, but in the OHL, he was absolutely lights out. It seems that when he gets a consistent matchup, he absolutely thrives. I suspect that Nick Suzuki will mostly be going up against Sean Couturier in this series. That's my hunch, just because Kevin Hayes is massive, and I figure Phillip Danault will get that matchup against Kevin Hayes. Then to his left, you have Thomas Tatar, who led the Montreal Canadiens in points this year with 22 goals, 39 assists with 61 points in total. He has a very good shot. He's also very strong defensively and a great playmaker. He doesn't have any points in the return to play so far, so he'll be looking to get on the board as well, and he's typically a clutch performer for the Habs, scoring big goals for us, usually top cheese over the goaltender's shoulder. And to the right, you have Brendan Gallagher, and we all know what a workhorse this guy is. He was drafted in the 5th round quite a few years ago and has become one of the Montreal Canadiens' best players, and he's becoming a consistent 30-goal scorer as well, and just entering the prime of his career. He's dealing with a bit of a nagging injury that was kind of noticed early in the Pittsburgh Penguins series, but it hasn't slowed him down whatsoever. He is still pushing the pace out there, still getting involved physically, and he was a big reason why we were able to shut down Crosby in that qualifying round series. Now we go down to the Habs' third line. We have Jesperi Kotkaniemi lined up at center, another guy who's starting to somewhat break out for the Habs. Not quite in terms of what he'll eventually become fully, but he has rebounded very well after having a subpar sophomore season. And he also is getting his physical game going very well. I often compare his style of play to Ryan Getzlaf. He skates with a low center of gravity, loves to use his edges and look for passing lanes. He gets physical down in the corners retrieving pucks. He actually led the Habs in hits in the Penn series with 19. He has been playing fantastic for us. He also led us in goals with 2, tied with Shea Weber. So some great offensive depth for the Habs. And to his left, you have Jonathan Drewen, who started to get really comfortable towards the end of that Pittsburgh series. He started the Habs season this year with 14 points in 19 games. Then he dealt with some significant injuries, and when he came back, he just really wasn't himself. And us Habs fans were a little worried when we started this return to play and he looked a bit off. But towards the end of the Pittsburgh Penguins series, he was looking really good, making some dynamic plays, really getting his hands moving. He's got some pretty silky mitts when he brings them out from time to time. Drewen also has an underrated shot that we'd all love him to utilize quite a bit more, and he's a fairly good playmaker as well. We'd love to see that chemistry get going between Kotkaniemi and Drewen. And to their right, you have Yoel Armia, another very strong defensive player for the Montreal Canadiens. Big boy as well, and he's got an underrated shot and very underrated hands in tight. He's great at retrieving pucks in the half walls, and he will dangle in a phone booth. Keep an eye out for that, Flyers fans, because you'll see him do it and you'll be like, who is that? And you'll be surprised to find out it's Yoel Armia. He was great for us against the Pittsburgh Penguins, really limiting their time and space, constantly pressuring skaters, especially the defensemen on the forecheck. And he was another big reason why we were able to shut down the Pens offense. Armia finished with 16 goals this season, a career high for him, and 14 assists for 30 points. Then you go down to the Habs' fourth line, and we have Max Domi lined up at center on the fourth line, so more offensive depth for the Habs. The thing is, we traded away Nate Thompson to the Flyers, and now we don't have a veteran center. So unfortunately, instead of having Domi on the wing as an offensive option up in our top 6 or top 9, Claude Julien has decided to put him in a shutdown role because he does have significant experience playing center for Arizona and for Montreal. And he has accepted this role wholeheartedly, and he's been doing a great job. He often had matchups against Sidney Crosby in the away games for us in that first qualifying round series. We had 17 goals, 27 assists for 44 points this season in 71 games, but the year before that, he led us in scoring with 28 goals, 44 assists, and 72 points. And then to the left of Max Domi, you have the journeyman Dale Wiese. He played great for us in the playoffs in the past, and so far he's doing fairly well as well. He doesn't stand out, but he doesn't make mistakes. Those calm veteran plays from our fourth line have been very valuable to us so far in the return to play. Whether it's just a simple chip in, a nice board play down low, keeping the puck in on the penalty kill, or a big hit from time to time as well. And then on the right side, you have Alex Zeal, who has just played his first game in the NHL in Game 4 against the Pens. Great story there. He's worked his way up from the ECHL, and at 29 or 30 years old, just played his first NHL game, so great story there. And he's got some offensive upside as well. He was an AHL All-Star recently and has had some decent looks so far in the return to play against the Leafs and in his first official NHL game against the Pens.